Hello, I'm Vulture, and I wanted to show you another deck that I made. This is my Flying Purple Robot Eater deck. This is actually one of the first decks I made when I first started playing the game. I think that was about a year ago, something like a year ago, and I was really big into playing Varroa. I loved the Varroa cards and playing Control, and I ended up winning Demon of Gluttony off of I think it was a Rift run. I'm pretty sure I got it out of a Rift run, and I was excited. I really wanted to use this card. Looked like a lot of fun. So those who don't know, the Demon of Gluttony is a flying 16/16, and if you sacrifice creatures into it, he gets more powerful, and he costs 9. Now, at the time, I didn't really know how bad of a card this is. It is, let's say, a bad card for some reasons. So let's pick a card to compare it to. I think I have Logarithmatron. I guess I don't. Oh, let's turn filters off. There we go. Logarithmatron. So when you compare Demon of Gluttony, they both have similar mechanics. You sacrifice something to gain a buff. Now the Logarithmatron costs 1. He's untouchable, and it uses the overcharge mechanic rather than sacrifice creature mechanic. Now I would argue that the overcharge mechanic is stronger than the sacrifice creature mechanic because you can discard from your hand. This opens up to discard spells. It also means you don't have to pay to put the piece on the board, so you just discard straight from your hand. So that's that. There's also the interactions with sleepers. You could put key creatures in your graveyard with sleepers with that, and you can also use, of course, the exile ability of the exiles. And he's untouchable. And he costs 1. Well, the Demon of Gluttony, you gotta play a creature to get his buff. Their direct buffs, I guess you can't really compare them because they're a little bit different. His double. The Demon's is just a straight up +8/+8 he gets. So I think Logarithmatron's a new card anyways, but still, Demon of Gluttony is pretty weak in my opinion, mainly because of his cost, and you have to build a deck around sacrifice for it to be effective. You have to be pretty much dumping a creature into his belly each turn, and because of that, you need a deck that's built around that. So if you're running a Varroa deck, you can't be building it around putting Acolytes of the Crypt in because you don't want to sacrifice those. Adaptive Brutes, maybe. You can't do Blackbind Witch. You can do, of course, where is he? Rita's Thrall and stuff like that. But for the most part, if you're going to have a sack deck for Demon of Gluttony, you got to be all in on the sacrifice, and that limits your options. So, with that said, this is a deck that tries to get around that a little bit. The other thing about Demon of Gluttony is you're putting all your eggs in one basket. Your deck is tooled to feed him, and then he pops out, and then he can just get Hubris, Death Raid, Demonized, Kidnapped by Demons, Varroa Kidnapper, what's the ghost? The Flying Ghost, one of my favorite cards. Ghost of Ancestral Guardians, where is it? Spirit of the Serpent, Spirit of the Ancient Guardians. So all that stuff can kick Demon of Gluttony's ass pretty easily. But, the Varroa has things you could deal with that. So let's say you pump him up, and then you deploy him in the support zone. Next turn, what you could do is you can do Mass Death to clear the board, just to be sure, and then you can Word of Command him out and do big damage that way. I think that was how I first sort of built this deck, was around Word of Command and Mass Death, so that it would clear the board, and then kind of squeeze them out to do like 60 damage, something like that. But this is a different approach. This is using Genesis Industries to get around his limitations. So one of the things that Genesis Industries is very good at is dealing with hit point and attack point pools, and that's something Demon of Gluttony definitely is. He's definitely an attack point, hit point pool. You feed him, he gets big. So how do we deal with that? Landstead seems to be probably the best way to deal with it, in my opinion. So what you want to do is you feed your demon, you mechanize him to make him artificial. Once he's artificial, you can use Landstead to clone his attack and health onto another creature. So that kind of splits your eggs into different baskets. So that's the crux of this deck. To get more in detail what the deck's about, it's got Rita for some creation of characters to feed the demon, and it's got Bad Bot in case you can't mechanize the demon. You don't draw mechanize. You can use Bad Bot kind of to stall and make unending drones 15/15s. It's not exactly efficient, but it gets the job done. As far as Rita the commander, I'm not completely decided about Rita, but at one point I had Defense Golem in there, hoping that he would help buy time, but removal options are just too strong that he became not worth having in the deck. So what I did instead is I put Rita in and opted to do much less unending drones in my deck, reducing the card count and making the deck a little bit more consistent. So Rita allows me to run less unending drones. So the deck itself, beyond that combo, is centered around stalling and just stalling, controlling the board. Now, Bombot, we have Bombot for that. We have, the usual for row removal, Overcharge Storm, Mass Death, one Assassinate, and some called shots. Also, there's Shikana, which kind of works a little bit like Bombot. So let's talk about Bombot. Bombot is a great card. For 3, you pop him out, and he can explode the next turn for 8, doing 8 damage to everybody on the board. Or you could pay 2 into him to increase his power, and it works as a great kind of mind fuck for the other player. They don't know if you're going to blow him or if you're just going to save it up to do more damage later on. Typically, the result is a opponent isn't going to go all in on an attack once they see Bombot on the board. They're going to be a little bit more selective with what they want to attack you with. Because of that, Bombot is a great stall card. Turn 3, you could put him out, and turn 4, you could blow him. He's almost like a fear, like a soft fear. The opponent sees him and isn't going to attack, going to keep his characters in the support zone. He's best played when the opponent has initiative. So if the opponent has initiative and you play Bombot, next turn you're going to be able to blow him before he gets lightning blasted or flamed on commando, because he does have 4 health, and that is his weakness. He can be removed quite easily through various means like that. So that's Bombot. Overcharge Storm. Overcharge Storm kind of works the same way. Just clears the board. Overcharge Storm is actually quite good to use to pitch unending drones into your graveyard. So say you need to do 8 damage, play Overcharge Storm, and then pitch an unending drone, and it's basically like you're playing an unending drone if you have drones on the board. As far as these 2 cards are concerned, let's say late game, what often happens is, since you can only basically play one big good creature a turn through Landstead, let's say you're pumping out a 50/50 each turn. What's going to happen is the opponent is going to be able to block that because he don't have unblockable. He's going to be able to put out little pecky guys to stop the damage. A great way to avoid that is to utilize Bombot and just blow Bombot or blow Overcharged Storm on your deployed 50-50 because he's going to take it. I mean, 50-50 and you do 12 damage to him, it's not going to matter. And he's going to, these cards are going to kill all the defenders and he's going to be able to get through. Mass Death is kind of neat in this deck because typically what you're going to be doing is you're going to be cloning onto unending drones and you're not going to really care if you have an unending drone go in the graveyard. So if you find yourself with one 50-50 on the board and they got 3 or 4 cards that are going to be coming out, it's no big deal to drop Mass Death. It's just a stall, and then the next turn you can play another unending drone for 50-50. Then there's draw for the Landstead, the Cartographers, and the Explorer. Shikana is a stall card, but you can also do other things like attack or defend with her. Shikana is a great card. I like Shikana. So this deck does, it depends. Let's go through the breakdown of what it does good against. Warpath, it's sort of a mixed bag. If they outramp you in mana, you're probably going to lose because you're not going to be able to keep up with the big creatures coming out. You can usually by the time I get my 50-50s out, they have an army out, and the 50-50 is going to block 2 or 3 creatures, and the rest are going to get through, and it's going to be that story through the rest of the match. Genesis, it can crush other Genesis decks. Just from the fact that you have Mass Death and Overcharged Storm and Bombot, you can clear, keep control, and then keep continually pumping out reliably stronger creatures through Demon of Gluttony than a Genesis would be able to pump out reliable big creatures. You know, through like, what's that card? War Machine? War Machine or Overmind, you know, those don't put out as strong as a 50-50. Varro, it does great. It does great against other control decks because, I mean, you have basically infinity big attacking creatures. So a control deck's going to not be able to deal with that. I mean, it could keep up, but eventually it's going to start to lose ground to the 50-50s coming out every single turn, or bigger or smaller. Flame Dawn, I would say, is the deck that this deck has the hardest time against. You know, you don't have enough removal by the time turn 6 comes around. So by the time turn 6 comes around, you have to be really lucky with your unstable Bombots, Overcharged Storms to be able to deal with the amount of damage that comes out. And if you took just a little bit too much damage, Saculus is going to finish you off pretty reliably. So that would be this deck's weak point. There's also similarly, Overseers kind of works the same way. It's not going to be able to keep up. Dodd, it does great against. Just from Mass Death and the other control options, you can, even if they're like a Dodd with avatars, if you get to the point where you start putting out 50-50s, the avatars don't matter because you're just going to kill them. And keep putting out more drones. Sleepers, I guess it depends. I guess I should say I haven't had much experience against sleepers with this deck, so I'm not really sure how it would do. Similarly with Exiles, I'm not entirely sure how it does with Exiles. I guess it could be very dangerous because they could play a, what is it? Wholesale Slaughter or similar ability, and you could just lose your basket of eggs right off the bat. Decks that use Calamity can also screw this deck over quite badly because you're relying on this for creature damage or this. And once they're gone, you don't have much. I mean, what you could do in a pinch is you could use Bombot with Landstead onto drones, but that's pretty weak. So, anyways, enough of me blabbing about this deck. Let's give it a try. Let's hope I get a quick match. If not, I'll have to edit the video, and I kind of don't want to edit the video. Make cuts. What else could I talk about this deck in the meantime? There's some fun things I like to do just for fun. It's a lot of fun for me to play Cartographer and then feed the Cartographer to the demon. I don't know why. It's just a blast to just pull out the Cartographer and then just feed him to the demon. That's great fun to me. Also great fun is to Landstead onto a Kidnapper. Make a Kidnapper 50-50 because they're not going to expect it, and it's pretty hilarious to see a card that almost never leaves the support zone out in the assault zone. So that's great fun to me. Here we go. Let's see what we got. Let's hope it's not Flamed On. So off the bat, I have Landstead. That's good. I would prefer to have Mechanized in my hand right off the bat, but I'll take it because I got a Wealthy Noble and I'm against Warpath. All right, look at that. We got our combo right off the bat. Let's just do that, and we should just feed it to him right now. We even got some removal just in case of a pinch. That's great. Overcharged Storm, I don't see being too useful this match. Maybe. So turn 5, what I'm probably going to do is play Rita, and then turn 6, I'm going to play Landstead. And then turn 7, I can use the Demon, clone the Demon onto one of Rita's Thralls. A 2/2 human. I don't know if her humans are called Thralls. I think they are. Although Rita's Thrall is a specific card. We'll see. I never paid attention to see what exactly it was called. What's this guy doing? Oh, let's move me over here. Just so we can see all the pretty buttons. Alright, he's kind of outside of fight range right now, which I'm happy about. Although I don't think... No, fight, you can no longer do support zone characters, I don't think. I mean, command zone characters. Alright. Play Landstead, feed the demon a worshipper. Now we want to first, okay. First I want to feed him that, and then use Landstead to clone it onto him. Although it's a little risky to have my drone not have a drone actually drawing, but that's okay. I was able to get Rita out. I think it'll be a 42-42. 34 plus 8. 42-42. I should actually just attack with him instead of defend, because he can only do 4 or 10 damage. Here we go. Take that. Alright, so we have some options now. So he's probably going to want to block with this guy. So I think I want to do, first of all, use Landstead on him. I think I'm going to shuffle away. No, I'm just going to use Lightning Blast on him. There's no way you could do 82 damage this turn. Alright, he's pretty much dead. So let's see, what can he block with? So what? Oh, he's conceding. So what I was going to do is play Overcharged Storm and get it up to about 16 to 20 damage, pitch my hand, and then have it pretty much guaranteed that these guys were going to live and none of the defenders were going to live. Alright, so that was a pretty quick game. You got to see the combo right off the bat. Crippled Fapper. I think this is the guy I fought in the last video. Alright, we got our combo. And we're up against a... What the hell is this deck? What? What is this deck? I've never seen anything like this. Okay, whatever. So, actually, it wouldn't make sense to put Noble out right now. I wonder what the plan is here. I guess maybe you use the Rita's guards. They're guards for this Rita, and they're worshippers for this Rita. Okay, so I guess the plan is to get the guards out and into the graveyard, and then you can turn them into 4/4s, I suppose. But what does this Alita have to do with it? I don't know. I don't know, guys. So, at some point I'm going to use Kidnapper on that Alita. So, I guess we'll play Cartographer right now. Feed him to the demon. Oh, I see. Do I even have to worry about that right now? So, let's do that. And then next turn I could play Landstead. Landstead, feed the demon. He has initiative, so what I want to do is feed him the one that's already deployed, the one that's targetable, because he could just lightning blast that one. If I ate this one, he could lightning blast this one, then I would have no drone draw per turn. So it would be the opposite way if I had initiative. So if I had an initiative, I would eat. Well, I guess I would eat the same one. I would eat the deployed one, and that would avoid any lightning blasts or anything like that. Just a little, I guess, trick. Before, what I used to do would be I would use the demon to eat the one that deployed that turn and exhaust him, the exhausted one. But I quickly learned that was problematic. All right. So deploy him, have him eat this one, have the deployed one already. Oops. Have the deployed one already. Do that. And I'm looking at 10, 12, 30-ish damage, I guess. I kind of don't want that. I can block that one and whack the thralls. The problem then becomes she could turn the thralls into 4/4s, but that's okay. That's okay. We're only looking to stall right now. And through it all, we have a 50-50. Oh, man. Oh, man. So do that and Death Ray him. And hope he doesn't have another removal for him. He seems wise to my plan. Lucky this is basically the only artificial character with flying right now, so if I Death Ray that, that's going to be the only real target that Elite is going to want to buff. So, off the bat, that's the ideal target for something like Death Ray. Kind of wish I had a Mass Death. That'd be very nice right now. Or a Bomb Bot. Or Overcharged Storm. So we got these semi-expensive kidnappers. I want to tell this guy, I want to like tell him in chat, like, hey, you were in a video, check it out. But I don't want to, because he's slow. Oh, son of a bitch. Alright, give me something good. No. $27 health. I suppose what I can do, here's the plan. I'm going to use him to suck him away, deploy the drone, and hope he targets the drone this turn, this upcoming turn. I'm going to fake him out with him. Alright, let's do the fake out. So, first thing we should do I even want to feed him? No. Actually, I suppose I should. I was short 1 mana. I wanted to use 1 mana to kidnap Alita. That's okay. So let's feed him this one. Clone him onto him. Drop them out. And the next turn I can kidnap and clone. Oh, he sure had enough removal for that. Oh, well. Pecked to death. What a way to go. Alright, one more match. Could have used Bombot very badly that match. Could have used, like I said, Overcharged Storm, Matt's death. I'll just say it was card draw that lost me that. Yeah, that makes me feel better. Okay. Alright, so let's just kill that right now, I guess. I'm kind of bummed I don't have a drone in draw, but that's okay. There's the drone. And I suppose I could feed it to him now. Okay, so I have 3 mana. I probably want to keep Overcharged Storm. I probably don't want Hubris of the Strong. So let's get rid of Hubris. See what we get. Not in good. So let's do that. Trade away. Called shot. Okay. We don't have Landstead yet. But we should start thinking about feeding the zombie, the demon, some more. Okay, so let's just feed him that, and let's abduct her. And hope for some Landstead. I mean, I got 3 Landsteads in it, and then 3 draws for the Landstead. Here, I can defend with that one. Play Rita. And feed him that. I will say this deck he's got is, I guess you could, jeez, I got all my Mechanize and no Landstead. I was going to say this deck is kind of a little bit weaker deck. It's kind of a goof deck. So any sort of representation might not be accurate here for the actual ability of the deck. So my priority right now has to be get Landstead. Turn 8 without Landstead. Let's feed him a drone. I suppose we could defend. We could even defend with Rita. No, I'll just do it this way. Take some more hits. Thank God. Cartographer. You're a welcome sight. So, I have some choices here. I kind of want to use Kidnapper on the Recurring Nightmare rather than on the Scavenger, because he is more of a persistent threat. I can use Rita to block one, and let's feed him the Cartographer, because that's great fun. Now, at this point, I probably don't need to feed the demon anymore. Let's do that. Do that. And actually, let's pull one of these back. There. Feed you that. So you can come at me with one. And that one can die. Okay. I don't want that one to die. What I want to do is mass death. Landstead, Bombot, and let's feed you one robot and feed you one worshiper. Yes, I do. And then let's start the cloning process. Actually, let's start it on... You didn't put it on a Rita. We'll put it on the drone. And what other plays do I have? Let's trade away one drone. So next turn, what I'm going to do is let the Bombot explode. That will clear the board of blockers. And I could even put the demon out this turn. No, I don't. Yes, let's put the demon out this turn. Beat him a Robbit. Hit end turn. So what that should do is do 12 damage to everything on the board. And these two will get through. There we go. One hit kill. They're fun. Okay, so that's my fun little deck, the Flying Purple Robot Eater deck. If you got any ideas for the deck, let me know. I'm always open to some ideas, how to make my decks better. I usually put a lot of thought into them, but I usually overlook one or two things, or maybe even 5 things that could make them good. Specifically, what's a good commander, I guess? I'm still not decided about Rita. I know Bad Bot's a pretty good backup. Removal and all that stuff. So anyways, hope you guys liked it. Hello Reddit, the 5 Reddit people. Take care.